Hey YouTube, I'm back. Welcome to All Things Video Games. Um, I'm once again here with Greg, who helped me out big time in January while I was in the Philippines. Speaking of which, when I was in the Philippines, I picked up a couple games here. One was a gift and three PS4 games, and then another handheld unit, which I will be showing off in a different video. But trip was awesome. I got a lot of pictures and stuff. I'll show everyone in a separate video again. But this time, we've got some video game stuff to talk about, and I'm going to let Greg lay out the topics.
Yeah, well, I think first we're going to discuss a bunch of Nintendo Switch stuff, because while I did the video on the presentation and my reaction to it, none of the viewers on this channel got to see what you think of it, so that's going to be one of our big bullet points with this podcast.
And actually, I'm going to, you'll see the little, what do you call that there, the card, the little card. Click on that. That'll take you to Greg's video because we didn't get too many views on that, and I think it's a fantastic job that he did. So
got a lot of copyright notices.
Yes, like so 9
cool.
of them. Got 9 of them or so. That was funny.
I tried. So after that, we're gonna discuss some Scorpio. So make sure to check for that video after you watch this one, or the other way around, depending on which one goes first. So anyway, Nintendo Switch. There was a presentation earlier in January, right after you decided to abandon the country. And so I know you didn't watch you kind of watched the presentation in various pieces.
Yeah, in bits.
So now the first thing I have to ask is, like, do you think that their message was well received and presented? Like, did it make sense? Do you think their point was made?
I think it was. However, if it wasn't, it definitely was after that Super Bowl commercial.
Right. And we'll talk more about that too, because the Super Bowl commercial, it did what the presentation kind of didn't. If you watch my video on the presentation, I obviously really liked it, but there was some things that were missing. Mainly the whole concept of taking home console games on the go and then bringing them back home and onto your TV. Like, that whole idea was pretty much absent for the whole presentation, which is super weird.
I did notice that a little bit. But, you know, being that we're more, I suppose, hardcore, gamers, we know what it does already. So, it didn't really faze us, kind of. But to someone like, let's say, my wife or your wife, they wouldn't have had a damn clue.
Yeah. And it's funny because the original reveal for the Switch focused heavily on taking your console games with you.
Yeah.
And then the Super Bowl commercial did as well. Both versions of it.
But I think better. Definitely better.
Yeah, because they were able to show a lot more.
That and the amount of millions of dollars that they pay just to have that spot.
That's the first time.
They had to make sure that their stuff is good.
Well, that was the first time Nintendo's ever had a Super Bowl commercial, which is kind of amazing when you think about it.
Yeah.
They've been in this industry since the early 80s, and it's like, it took all this time. Like, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. Makes you think if they would have done it for the Wii U, they could have had a different outcome, maybe. But we'll see. We'll see. I know that the Switch pre-orders, as far as I've read, there are no more. You can't pre-order. So we'll see how many units they sell within like the first month of launch.
Yeah, there's been a few unfortunate things, actually. Like, I read that GameStop was canceling some people's orders because they're not going to be receiving enough.
Yeah, that's kind of crappy. I would say, hey, you're not going to get yours on launch day. Do you want to keep
Right.
your pre-order, and when we get it, we ship it, or whatever. But
Yeah.
that's kind of
Straight
shitty.
up canceling is not.
It's a dick move.
It's not right.
Of
But
course, they're
GameStop has been
dicks.
doing that a lot lately. We'll talk about that some other time. um, so now I know you didn't watch the whole presentation, but based on what you saw, did you think it was fun to watch? Think it was
Yeah,
that's kind of what I thought too. I thought it was like I was expecting like a really business like one with a lot of like charts and numbers and crap like that.
well, yeah. I mean, it's like a shareholder meeting.
It was.
It didn't really seem like a shareholder meeting to
No,
me.
it seemed like an E3 conference.
Yeah,
Like,
or like the old school Nintendo Space World or
yeah,
something.
it was a lot like the Space World 2000 where they showed off the GameCube for the first time. Um, okay, so now we gotta talk about the system a little bit before we discuss the games or anything else. So I mentioned in my video how I thought the HD Rumble was super interesting, and I liked the fact that they included the motion control in the Joy-Cons. And it seems they haven't really verified, but it seems that it's like a advanced version of the Motion Plus that was found in the Wii remote.
Yeah.
That the second version of the Wii remote. So to me that's awesome. Like, and there's one reason for this. I want a remake of Skyward Sword, Zelda Skyward Sword in HD. And like they could not do that game without motion control. It would lose too much. So you have some thoughts. And I kind of understand because one of my thoughts was, man, this is really pushing towards that Wii crowd. Like, is this the right idea when you're trying to get away from Wii to, make a Wii?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I think the technology is definitely awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they're like so-called putting ice cubes in a glass and oh, you can feel it. And I mean, granted, we're not going to know until we were able to play it. It's still technology that I think is really advanced as far as like Rumble features go. But I think it's a feature that's just it's not going to get used.
Kind
A
of
lot of
like
developers are probably not going to use it.
right, kind of like the Xbox One's triggers. Like,
Yeah, the rumble motors,
and
which to me, a lot of developers are missing the boat there because that's another cool feature that
I tell you what,
it immerses you.
that sold Forza for me real fast. Forza Horizon 3. I mean,
And then
so awesome.
it it's also kind of like the PlayStation Vita's rear touchpad. Not a whole lot of games use that either, and it's like it's there, I don't know. I think the HD Rumble, that's like I'm on a teeter-totter right now. It's a very cool looking teeter-totter,
Yeah.
but I don't know that we're going to be able to ride it very well.
Now, I think it's important to look at that HD Rumble and consider, like, you have to consider the whole controller as a whole. Not just the Rumble by itself or the motion by itself, because by themselves it's not that interesting. Did you watch any of the 1-2 Switch stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I thought that was kind of neat, but at the same time, it's for me is
Wii Sports,
it's just a lot like Wii Sports Resort.
Nintendo Land, that kind of thing.
The only difference though is that you're not required to have that IR bar, or sensor bar for people who think it's a sensor. The little Joy-Cons actually have cameras in them, that like a laser guided camera almost, and it'll measure the distance and whatever. Which kind of, if you're facing someone and you're doing swords or something. That's kind of neat because
Yeah.
even though you don't have a sword there in the game you hit swords, you're gonna feel it,
See,
and that's
and
kind of neat.
that I'm glad you brought that up because my first thought when I watched that video and saw the HD Rumble presentation was like we could have sword battles, like lightsaber battles, and you'd feel things in the controller that you didn't feel before because of the HD Rumble, but then having it be able to detect not
Like
collision
the
but
beam.
like
Well,
yeah,
kind of
like
based on
basically
distance.
you'd feel the swords hitting that are not actually there at
Yeah.
all, and that's just one small example. There's many others that could really be cool. Like I could see a jet ski game where you hold them like you're on a jet
Yeah,
ski,
yeah,
the
and
two
you
Joy
could.
Cons, and you could feel the rumble of the motor and stuff in a different way than before. I don't know. There's a lot of different ideas. I think it could be really cool for. And it is weird to me that they're like trying to appeal to the Wii crowd. I mean, in a way, it's like I understand. It's been 10 years since the Wii came out, 11 years almost. So to a lot of people, Nintendo hasn't had a new console since. Let's just face it.
Yeah, no, that's true. Because I mean, still, I don't know how, but still, and
Yeah.
this is actually true. Like last month, before I left, I was at Walmart, getting some like snacks and stuff to take. And of course, I always go to the games, and I gotta look at it, see if there's anything on sale.
Hmm.
And I heard some lady talking to her kid. Oh, you don't need a Wii U. That's just a controller for your Wii, and you don't even play that anymore. And it's like, no, dumb lady.
It's
That's a whole new system.
it's
But
truly sad.
that's whatever. Nintendo's the one that fucked up there with their naming and bad advertising.
And their design. Like
Yeah, I mean it looked like a Wii even, pretty much.
yeah, just as a quick side note before we get too off track, I had heard somebody discussing this very topic about their poor marketing on the Wii U. And they had mentioned how on the Wii you had things like the Wii itself, but then like Wii Sports Resort, Wii Fit, which came with the balance board, all these different things that were Wii, and then Wii U comes out. So it's like the inclination is to think, oh, it's a tablet for my Wii. Because
Yeah,
the box itself looks almost identical to the original, even though they eventually went with just the black version. Doesn't matter, there's a black Wii also.
yeah.
So it was a mess through and through. So anyway, I thought that the motion control is kind of weird, and I'd be put off if that's all it was. Like if it's just the two Joy Cons doing motion stuff, I'd be saying Nintendo's doomed
Yeah, no,
right now.
I'm glad it's just an option.
Hmm.
But I personally think that, with the exception of Nintendo, I don't see too many games using that option.
We'll see. We'll see. I think you're probably right, at least for the first couple of years. Um, but the important thing is that it is a real full controller.
Yeah,
Like,
especially with the adapter and
yep, you just
and
slide it into the Joy-Con grip, and it's a regular ass controller basically. And my pop filter is falling. That's cute. Um, so yeah, it is a regular controller. That's awesome. That's one reason why the Wii had such a problem with core gamers is that it couldn't play regular games. They all had to have some gimmicky control scheme because the Wii remote and nunchuck didn't have what the others did for control.
yeah, and then if you did want to go, buy a controller like that, at least for the Wii, you had to plug it into the Wiimote, and it's like now you got this dongle thing on your
Yeah.
lap or something, and I always thought that was just so stupid.
Well, and I got around that. I'm a big Wii collector in a way. Like I love the Wii, but the classic controller, sure, it's most similar to the Super Nintendo, but it's not. It's not quite. Like the buttons, the A, B, X, Y buttons, they're kind of more diamond shaped then I don't know how to explain. They're not positioned the same as a Super Nintendo, basically, and it feels kind of weird when you're trying to do Super Nintendo games. Then to make it worse, those analog sticks on the original classic controller, they're too close together, so your thumbs end up bumping into each other, basically. They did remedy that pretty quick with the classic Pro controller for the Wii, which had handles on the sides, kind of like PlayStation style, and it spread the analog sticks farther apart and made the triggers bigger instead of having, because that was another thing with the original classic, is you had the L and R, but then like inward was ZL and ZR, and it's like how are you even supposed to push those?
That's a poor design.
So,
but you can see that they definitely revamped 100%. Like number one with the Joy-Con grip, that's how I'll play it all the time. The way that looks, I don't know if it feels the same, but to me it looks a lot like a Dreamcast controller, and I love that controller, although I wish it had another analog stick. And then their Pro controller looks kind of like a 360 controller, in my opinion, but that's fine.
Definitely takes some cues from Xbox.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to think that the 360 or even Xbox One controller might be the best one, period.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue that it isn't. They're really good. So to borrow from the best, I don't see that being an issue.
No. The one thing that I immediately had a problem with, that a lot of people are saying is a problem, is that there's no D-pad on the Joy-Cons.
Yeah, that might be an issue.
Yeah, well, they
got the face buttons.
That's the thing, though. It's like face buttons aren't the same. I saw a lot of different impressions where people were playing like 2D games, because Shovel Knight is getting a new release on there with a bunch of extra stuff added.
Yeah.
And basically a whole new game on top of the original all-in-one sweet package. Anyway, the guy that was playing it, he was actually at Yacht Club Games, so he got to hold the Switch controller without it being on the big security thing.
Yeah.
And he said that it feels really good, the weight and everything is great, but that the lack of a D-pad is a serious problem. Like he said, you'll absolutely, if you play 2D games or fighting games, you'll absolutely want to get the Pro controller, because not having the D-pad is just not acceptable. And I'm with them. My first thought was maybe it'd be like PlayStation.
That's what I'm thinking,
but you look at it though, it's not like.
Well, PS1 and 2, even the PS3 controller, like, right here, the way the D-pad is, it's separate, but it isn't. I mean, if you were to take it apart, it's one piece, but it is kind of separate. Now, the Switch looks like the buttons are a little bit spaced further apart.
That's just it, because they're face
So,
buttons.
like, if you're dealing with something like that distance compared to that distance, I can see some serious issues, but I'm not going to say anything until I get to play some games. It might be one of those like per case scenario type thing.
Now, don't get me wrong, I think that's a problem, but I think overall most games are going to be fine with the Joy-Con.
The analog stick is probably going to be
fine for like everything.
And if it's like the GameCube's analog stick, I think honestly I might be quite happy.
I doubt it. It's probably going to be like the Wii U's analog stick repurposed.
Yeah.
I mean, they did change it though. Like if you look at the stick itself, it's kind of like the PS4's in a way. It's not convex, not concave. It's kind of both. So that's kind of cool.
We'll see how it feels. I'll probably play it at Best Buy when it comes out.
And I'll play it at home when it comes out.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait and see kind of thing. I'm gonna get Zelda for the Wii U, and I think I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm
But
getting that and on Switch like same day. So I have a bunch of Switch stuff pre-ordered. Maybe we'll talk about that at the end here. But um, okay, so I guess that puts us at the games.
well, we know of well, in a way, we know of a few, and actually quite a few.
Yeah, I got an approach to this because there was a lot of stuff shown between the montage, well, mostly the montage, and then like the few games they actually went in depth with.
Yeah.
So we have the new game Arms. There's 1-2
I
Switch.
about Arms. I'm actually kind of like, in a way, I'm kind of excited for it,
Hmm.
but at the same time, it's like, well, to me, it's like Wii boxing on steroids. And I liked Wii boxing back when I used to play the Wii all the time,
Hmm.
but
So
I don't know. We'll see. I think if I were to pick up the Switch on day one, I would definitely pick up Arms, and Zelda's a given, but
Arms
Arms would,
hasn't been confirmed for launch day.
well, whenever it
So
would come out, then
it says launch, but like
maybe launch window or
that's
like
probably
within the
it.
first month or two, which is fine.
Have you watched any of the gameplay hands-on with Arms?
No, that I
Okay,
have not.
that might change your opinion because that was my first thought too. It was like, this is a stylized Wii boxing, but once I actually watched some gameplay of it, that's when it was like, oh, so this has a little bit more to it because you can actually change out your arms
Oh,
so that they each one has a different ability attached to it.
that's even cooler.
Yeah, and based on everything I've read and watched so far, the motion aspect of it works really well, like really, really well. So that's already a step above Wii Boxing because that didn't really work very well.
Yeah, you could
Um,
cheat it so much.
oh yeah, yeah, and and you like level up your character and stuff like that. There's all kinds of different mechanics that are buried in there, so it's got me interested. I kind of hope it ends up being their next Splatoon kind of success in a
Yeah,
way. Um,
and if
which
they have online fighting too,
and
that's
I'm sure they will.
better.
It's kind of neat because it's like a arena based fighter, and I get all I can think of when I think of arena based fighters is Power Stone,
Oh
and
yeah,
that was
that's
awesome. So, so anyway, I just mentioned Splatoon. That's obviously one of the big games they announced was Splatoon 2, not a
yeah.
port. Um, Granted, I think it's going to be mostly a port
I
with
think
some
it's going to
extra
be like,
stuff.
even though they're calling it two, I'm thinking it's more like a 1.5.
I think so too. I believe they're going to have like an actual single player campaign of some kind, but they haven't said anything. It's just a hunch I have. I think they're going to do that. And obviously they have new weapons. That's one of the things they announced. New weapons, new levels, and new characters to play as. That's all well and good. It is a multiplayer focused game, so those kinds of things are pretty essential.
Yeah,
Um, Now I gotta point out because like Mario Kart 8's coming to it too, which is pretty cool. It's a deluxe edition. It has a few new things, including a battle mode. Um, but what I want to say here is that this first year looks awesome for the Switch, especially when you compare it to the Wii U. Like
yeah,
they have their bases covered because they got Zelda and 1-2 Switch right on launch day. Sometime shortly after that is Arms. And then in like April is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which yeah, it's a port technically, but since there's only like almost 13 million units of the Wii U out there, that's a lot of people that can still buy Mario Kart 8 that haven't even played it yet.
yeah, and it'll run better.
Yeah, and have battle mode. Like a lot of people like battle mode, so it's there. But then come summertime, they got Splatoon 2, And then in the holiday, they have Super Mario Odyssey, which looked freaking awesome, right?
Yeah,
Like,
there's a lot of that to me, it's like a mix between Super Mario 64 and um, oh, what is that? Shit, I can't remember.
Sunshine.
Well, maybe that,
I mean,
but
Mario 64 and Sunshine are really, really similar.
yeah, I was thinking more along the lines of what the hell's that one that was on the Wii? That the I'm
Galaxy?
at yeah, Galaxy 1 and 2.
Hmm. I don't see that because it looks too
Well,
big.
I'm saying the way the mechanics are, the way Mario moves and jumps and stuff,
Hmm.
real similar.
Yeah, a lot of people had a weird Sonic vibe from it because it's like
I could kind of
Mario.
see that.
Yeah, Mario looks really out of place next to these more realistically
Yeah.
proportioned
No,
people.
I agree with that. And
Though I'm gonna just say right now, nobody needs to worry about this turning out like Sonic 06. It'll be fine. It's Nintendo. They don't mess with Mario in a bad way, so it's not gonna be Sonic 06 for the Mario universe. Um, it looks awesome though. Like it looks so big, it's retarded. Like I don't know how it's actually gonna be when you actually play it, but based on the bits I've seen between the trailer and some gameplay, it's just like, man, that city is humongous and there's so much going on. And like, I don't know, you can get to the tops of buildings and stuff. It's like, damn. It's like Grand Theft
yeah, and
Auto for
that's and
Mario.
some of the level designs that they showed off
Mm.
look pretty nice too.
Yeah, you know, I was kind of worried when I saw the city, thinking, oh man, it's gonna be like all like, you know,
Grand Theft Auto
based
open
on
world.
based on the real world that I already live in. But
Yeah.
then, like, when they showed those other levels, it's like, oh, this is really otherworldly kind of stuff. That's what I want to see out of a Mario game.
I'm almost wondering if this is what Mario 128 was supposed to be.
Well, Mario 128 was very much supposed to be, well, it turned into Pikmin ultimately, but yeah. And Galaxy, you can see bits of that if you go back and watch the. For all the viewers out there that don't know what the hell we're talking about, there's a GameCube demo that Nintendo called Mario 128, which basically had a whole bunch of Marios running around on this spherical platform. And it's funny because that concept, the tech behind it lends itself first to Pikmin, with having all the little Pikmin running around, then most obviously to Mario Galaxy on the Wii, and yeah, both the titles on the Wii.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So anyway, I think this first year looks damn solid as far as Nintendo's own support goes. But I think we can both agree that the third-party support is a little questionable still.
It's up in the air, but I don't think it's terrible. I think everyone can admit that EA is terrible. I mean,
That was just awful.
I'm not going to buy that game. I
No.
have no interest in that.
And you know what's going to happen? They're going to be like, oh, we put FIFA on the Switch and nobody bought it. They must not want any games from EA. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you give us your like most lame-ass, boring-ass game in your catalog.
Look, I'm sorry, but put Need for Speed on there. I don't even care if it's just a rehash
Uh,
just the essentially Need for Speed remake. I mean, it's online only, but
I don't care if they take
I think
the
it'd be
mobile.
great.
I don't care if they take a mobile version of Need for Speed and put it on there. I'll buy that before I buy any FIFA game.
Yeah, no, that's true. And
I'll
then
even
give
take
me
a port.
Battlefield. I want Battlefield 1 on there.
I'll
Let
take
me
a
play
port
that
of
on the
that.
go.
I'll take a port of Titanfall, either one.
That
honestly.
would be great.
Don't give a
Although
crap.
they did say that that's not happening. But I
Well,
don't know.
that
it could
one,
be all horsepower reason, but
yeah, but that was like one of the guys from Respawn laughing it off.
yeah,
You can bet
I
your
guess,
ass that if
yeah,
EA was like, "Hey, you guys need to make Titanfall on Switch," They're gonna find a
They'll be
way to
like,
make it
they
work.
they will say yes, sir. You're paying our bills. So, but Titanfall, Battlefield 1, Need for Speed. You know what? Well, there's gonna be a Madden game on there in the fall. You know that for sure.
There's gotta be.
Not that I give
But
a shit about that, but
Wii U didn't have any Madden games after the first one.
yeah, because it sold like garbage. But that's the thing is, diehard Nintendo fans don't give two shits about sports games.
No. No, they don't. Other than that, we saw some stuff announced from Ubisoft, which
Yeah,
I thought was a little.
Dancing, I don't give two shits
okay,
about that.
Just Dance, whatever. They still sell that on Wii U and
And on the
makes some
Wii.
money. And the Wii. It's doing good. Fine. That's expected. They did announce Rayman Legends like Deluxe or something.
I'm cool with that.
I would be cool with that, except for it's already been on every other system under the sun for years.
Well, see, that's the thing is, if
Like-
it has a lot of extra stuff and it's cheaper, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, they need to like double up the level count and everything. If you ask me,
Or take the first and the second one, combine it or something.
I
But
considered that myself, but even then, I don't think so because those games have been out for a long time, and it's just like that's kind of weak.
yeah,
I guess anybody who didn't get them already, it's cool for them, but
I don't actually
couldn't care
have
less.
the Legends.
Well, I have Origins on PS3 and Legends on Wii U, so I have no reason to.
And
Get
I think
this
it's
one.
played the best on the Wii U with the tablet.
Yeah, that's what it's
It was
designed for.
designed for, yeah.
Now they did announce that their recent snowboarding or winter sports game Steep is coming to the Switch.
That'll be cool. I've read it's a good game.
I have too, and I was kind of surprised to see that a current gen game that's on the other two systems is finding its way to Switch. That could be a good sign.
Is that running Unreal Engine?
Oh, I have no idea what engine it runs.
I know I don't know which game it is, but there's an Unreal Engine game that is also coming out that essentially is a port from like the PS4.
Well, that's actually a good lead-in to Square Enix's like amazing support of the Switch, like out of the gate. I did not expect it. They once again reiterated that Dragon Quest X, which is an MMO on the Wii over in Japan and 3DS, and Dragon Quest XI, which is coming to 3DS and PS4 also, running on Unreal Engine 4, they're both coming to Switch. So it's like, that's pretty awesome all by itself. They could stop there and still like, wow, they're bringing like their big guns over to the Switch, minus Final Fantasy. Well, they don't stop there. Like, they have, I think the most interesting thing that perhaps I've seen outside of Nintendo's own stuff was that Octopath Traveler. It was like that pixel art RPG. It looked crazy awesome. Stupid name. I don't understand the name one bit. But they also made a game called Bravely Default and made a sequel to it. So I don't know what those names mean either, but okay. I'll take it. If it's a sweet game, it's a sweet game. And they announced that the Switch is going to have a port of I Am Setsetsu, which was made by the Tokyo RPG Factory that Square owns, that focuses on making old school RPGs for new consoles.
That's the one that you showed off in your video.
I believe I did, yeah.
Where it's all pixel art in a 3D world.
That one, no. I Am Setsetsu is all 3D graphics, but it plays like a 2D game. You're thinking of Octopath Traveler.
That game looks sweet.
That looked freaking amazing. Amazing. I don't know if it'll play that good, but it sure looks good. I want to say there's something else from Square, but I can't think of it. Either way, that's a lot of stuff.
Is that all launch titles?
No, but this year,
Okay.
still, that's this year for Switch. 2 Dragon Quest games, and then 2 other RPGs. One is all original. Like, wow. And one of those Dragon Quest games is a freaking MMO. It's going to be on Switch. Like, MMOs don't hit consoles very often.
No.
So-
Hopefully, Nintendo's online platform, which I know they revamped, and
Yeah,
you now have to pay like what, $28 a year or something. Hopefully, it's good.
yeah, we'll see.
I hope they're ready for the flood of people.
Now, what other games are we forgetting? Because I'm sure everybody in the comments, whoever
Well,
leaves
I
the
know
comments
I don't know the name of it. I can't remember, but the essentially sequel to Fast Racing Neo,
Yeah, Fast RMX is coming.
which will be, as far as
It's
I
a March release.
I believe it will be physical copy too.
I don't know if that one is. I haven't been able to find
It
out.
better be.
I've been trying to
won't-
find out.
I don't have Fast Racing Neo because it's not physical.
Now, another game in that same vein, actually, that does appear to be physical because it's up for pre-order on like Best Buy's site and stuff, is Redout, which is another Wipeout F-Zero style racing game.
Yeah, that looks pretty sweet.
It does, and that one does appear to be physical for sure. Fast RMX, I'm not 100% sure. Neat tidbit though, if you watch any of the gameplay of Fast RMX, you might notice something familiar. And that's because the announcer from F-Zero GX decided to lend his talents to this game. So it's literally a sequel to F-Zero now. So yeah, hell yeah. I don't care if Nintendo's publishing it or not. It's freaking F-Zero GX2. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. When I found that out, I was like, man, I knew that guy sounded familiar. Nobody sounds that characteristically, like, I don't know, upbeat. Man, what else are we forgetting? There's got to be something else.
Oh shit! That RPG. What the hell? All right, Xenoblade.
Yes, duh. Xenoblade, and they're calling it Xenoblade 2.
I had to look at the Wii U game because I knew it was on Wii U, and then the sequel, like, they fixed a lot of problems and issues that people have had.
And what's crazy to me is that this was one of those games, along with Mario Kart and Splatoon, that was like, everybody was like, yeah, it's going to be ported to the Switch or the NX. And it's like, man, I don't know, that kind of sucks because like it's been out already. But that's a freaking sequel.
Yeah, and it looks really good.
Like, and it's scheduled for this year.
I'm not a huge fan on the whole like anime character style, but it still looks really good.
And I'm in the camp where I liked the way that the characters looked on the first Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was good.
I think on Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U,
well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think that it's still like the same style, clearly, but I think the high definition made it kind of more weird to me. And I think when I saw this, and I saw they were using anime-style characters, it's like, that makes sense. Like, I think it's going to make a lot more people feel more comfortable with the way it looks, at least. Because they know how to do the environments like nobody else already.
Yeah,
so characters were the only thing.
I'll tell you what they were able to accomplish on the Wii U was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And at least from the footage we saw, that Switch, the game on the Switch, it looks even better.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the hardware is far better, but there are some limitations that we believe, and it looks to me like they said, we don't give a shit about your limitations.
Yeah. We're just going to make our own game. You guys do whatever. Yeah, that's kind of what happened, I think.
It looks good.
It
I
does.
will. I'll probably pick it up. I still need to finish the one on the Wii U, but
Yeah, everybody watching this video, hound him to start playing RPGs, like for
how
real.
about how about hound me to start playing my games?
Well,
Like
there's that, but
I'll buy them, I'll play for a couple hours, and then I move on to a different game, and it's like, oh my God, I need to
yeah.
finish these.
And then you try to go back, and it's like, I don't know what I was doing.
So then you start over, and next thing you know, you're like,
Moving on to the next game
you're
again.
just on, yeah, you get as far as you were.
So I just brought up a little graphic that Nintendo has on their site for all the games that are confirmed.
Oh, okay.
Well, not all of them, but a handful, good handful. And I can't believe I forgot one because I'm really excited about it, even though it's the evil Konami. And that's Super
Uh,
Bomberman R.
I'm excited for that too because my wife is a big fan of the original Bomberman from the well, where she's from the Philippines, so she played it on the Famicom,
Hmm.
and actually on here, this is I'll talk about different video, but the Famicom Pocket. Of course, this is like from China or something, but it has Bomberman on it, and she plays it, so it's pretty cool.
Well, I thought a cool feature with this is that it supports up to 8 players. And
Yeah,
it's like you can do two on just the Switch itself because
yeah,
of the
the
Joy
like,
Cons being two separate
yeah.
controllers. And I forgot to mention this before, but I just want to point out to anybody that didn't watch the first video I did that each Joy-Con has its own L and R buttons on top.
That's
So
crazy.
awesome! When they showed that, I did not expect that. I thought it was gonna be the forward face buttons and sticks. That's
Yeah,
it, but
or each one with like a trigger, and
yeah,
that's all you would get. But no,
uh,
that's pretty awesome.
there's a couple others here. We already talked about Fast RMX, Snipper Clips, also from Nintendo, a new one from Nintendo, looks oddly awesome. You need to check it out. You probably haven't, but you need to, including the viewers. You guys need to check this out too, because it looks really cool. I think it's going to be the sleeper hit of the Switch launch. Um, Other ones, I guess, worth mentioning kind of quick are the Puyo Puyo Tetris. That's going to be weird, I guess. It's
Hmm.
something. The game Rhyme is coming. Disgaea 5. Sonic Mania, which we kind of knew was coming because they included Nintendo NX, I believe it was, in the trailer. But that one's exciting to me because it's the first 2D, like sprite-based 2D Sonic that Sega's made in forever. And
Since
it's
Sonic the Hedgehog 4, which
no,
came out on the
not
mobile games.
not that, because that wasn't sprite-based. I'm talking like it's all sprite-based. It looks like a Genesis game. So we're going farther back than that. We're going to like Sonic and Knuckles or Sonic 3. I think Sonic and Knuckles was the last true 2D
Uh,
one. Unless you count like Sonic 3D Blast or something, but
I don't know, but
way back anyway.
either way, we're talking 16-bit
Yeah. Um.
blast processing.
Yep. I'm sure this is gonna have blast processing as well, folks. So
Yeah, in code.
get excited.
Sega figured out how to get it to
Yeah,
work on that Tegra.
that's right. It took all this time. Um. Weird, but not really surprising, is the announcement of Skyrim coming to the Switch.
Yeah, and that's funny because it was in the reveal, and they're like, "No, no, no, that's actually not coming out."
But yeah,
Like
and
bullshit.
that's what I was saying though. Is even back then it's like they're not gonna admit it right now because they don't want to spill the beans yet. But it's like duh.
It's like you spilt the beans because you showed it off in the damn video.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, so it's coming out, which is cool.
It's kind of a bummer. Why in the hell isn't it Fallout 4 at least? Something a little more recent.
Maybe they're working on Fallout 4 for that. I mean, it's possible.
I I fear that this is going to be kind of like EA releasing FIFA, where they're going to be like, "Oh, nobody bought Skyrim on the Switch. Well, I guess we don't need to make Elder Scrolls 6 on the Switch."
See, I don't know. I think that the majority of people who are going to buy a Switch will get Skyrim simply because number one, it's a great game. Number two, and maybe the most important reason, mobile. You're going to be able to take it with you.
That could
I mean,
be, yeah.
there's a lot of people who, they'll play it maybe not like for hours and hours and hours like you did when you first got the game, but you're gonna just pick up and play, and then you can pause it or whatever and save it pretty much anywhere. You're gonna, it's like I'm on the train for 20 minutes commuting to work or whatever it might be.
And you can
And be
do a
able to,
mission or two.
yeah,
Yeah.
or just
Well, that could
loop.
be. I think a lot with the Switch really hinges on that aspect, being able to take these big ass games with you.
Yeah.
And there's a few others to quickly run through here. Of course, Minecraft is coming, so there's Minecraft.
Microsoft's gonna release that, huh?
Of course they are. They don't get involved with Minecraft because they're making money. It's still on every other system.
So it's they're letting Mojang do whatever they want.
Yep.
That's
Which
good.
makes sense. I mean, it's a game that sells on every system. Why not
I
sell
wonder.
on
I
every
wonder how
system?
well it sold on the Wii U.
Don't know. I keep meaning to get it on the Wii U because I want to have a physical version, even though I have it on 360 and PC digitally and Windows 10 digitally. So I have three versions, but I want a physical disc one, man.
I've never played it.
Well, you're missing out. Anyway, a few others. The Minecraft Story Mode adventure game is coming.
That's two of them. Damn.
Yeah, the story mode is a little different though. It's kind of like the Walking Dead Telltale game.
Okay.
In fact, this is made by Telltale too, so same company and everything. It's just an adventure game. Siberia 3. If you remember any of those PC adventures, point and click adventure games, apparently there's a third one coming. I don't know who cares about that, but it's coming.
Never played the other one, so.
Well, I have one
Not
and
something
two.
I'm looking for.
I got one and two in like a bundle on Humble or something, but I don't know. Farming Simulator, woo!
That seems to sell pretty well, though.
It sure does, man. Every time I'm at work and somebody's like, "Can I get Farming Simulator 2017 for my Xbox One?" It's like, you can, but do you really want to? Now,
I could take your money from you, and it'd be like the same thing.
well, it's like we are surrounded by farmland around here. Just go outside and get to work. There's your farming simulator. Super realistic.
You might even be able to get paid.
That's right. Instead of paying for the opportunity to do the work.
Anyways.
Yeah, Project Sonic 2017 that Sega's working on. Their big rebirth of Sonic in 3D.
Hopefully it's awesome.
It's funny. We could probably almost do a whole video on Sonic one of these days because it's been such a crazy road since the early days up till now. Like the last couple of games, like they had that Sonic Boom game that was just garbage, made by Crytek no less. But it was garbage on the Wii U, and ran on CryEngine 3. Or it wasn't made by Crytek; it was on CryEngine 3. Either way, still looked like crap, so that's still remarkable. But then there's like Sonic Lost World, which was kind of okay. Did a lot of things right, but a lot of things not so right. But then they had like two amazing games back to back with Sonic Generations and Sonic Colors. And in
Generations, I don't have it, but that's like one I'm trying to get. But every time I find it, it's too much money.
I have two copies essentially. Got the PC one and PS3. Not letting go of the physical one for that.
That looks so good.
And of course, there's a Dragon Ball game announced. I don't give a crap about that. But then I think one of the bigger surprises, and I'm not sure how I feel about it, is the announcement of Ultra Street Fighter 2: The Final Challengers.
That is a bit weird to me.
Right.
Not so sure. I don't know. Although I know a lot of hardcore Street Fighter fans are still pretty big into the Street Fighter 2 variants.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the whole fan base is really big into that, and Capcom's just capitalizing on it. I mean,
Well,
I don't know.
you could be right. I think what's going on here is, if you remember a couple years ago, Capcom released Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix. Try
Which
saying that five
I
times
have
fast.
that from the Humble Bundle when they had it for PlayStation,
Yeah, I guess it
and
wasn't there.
I played it for a bit, and I'm like, okay, it's Street Fighter 2 in HD, and it looks pretty damn good, but
Yeah. Now there
whatever.
was some notable things about that. Like all the art was redone by the artists who did the Street Fighter comics back in the 90s.
Oh,
So they are the ones that redrew all the characters for that version of the game. And their music was all remixed by fans over on I want to say it was Overclocked Remix, whatever their site is. I don't know if it's just overclockedremix.com or whatever. But Overclocked Remix, since you might not know what it is basically it's a whole bunch of like fans, video game fans that are musicians who remix game music.
okay.
And that's their thing. That's what the whole site is about. And so they redid all the tracks for the game, for that version of the game. So it's cool because it's like it's super fan driven, obviously. But when I look at this as a newly announced Nintendo Switch game in 2017, the game is damn near 10 years old now. And that's essentially what this is. Now, there is a extra mode, like a looks like a team battle mode or something, where you can have like 4 players duking it out at once. But I don't know, man. Like, of all the things Capcom could have brought to the Switch, Street Fighter 2 HD Remix? Like, I don't know, guys. Like, I don't
Personally,
know.
I'd like to see Resident Evil 7 on there.
I would like to see Resident Evil HD 1, like the remake HD.
Yeah.
I think that
Well,
would
all
be.
of them, man. Bring them all out.
Yeah, just I don't know. It's just baffling to me. Like that's where you're gonna start. They have like Mega Man, they have Resident Evil, they have newer Street Fighter games, but they're gonna start with that.
My guess is it may have been the easiest and cheapest to bring up.
Not only that, but they lost money because it didn't sell well before, and I have to assume this is like them saying, okay, we need to recoup losses, and this is our opportunity with the launch and everything. Let's just take this stuff. It's already done. Let's bring it on over. That has to be it.
We'll find out.
I guess. I mean, I'm half inclined to buy it if the price is good, because I am a Street Fighter fan, but it's still kind of baffling. So I think we've covered almost everything. Now, price and release date: March 3rd for $300. Yay or nay?
March 3rd's fine.
We'll
300
soon.
bucks. I don't know, man.
I think that's the high end.
Yeah, I don't know. I was expecting 249,
That's what I
but
thought too. Yep.
I mean, okay, the Wii U is dead now. They even announced they quit manufacturing it, and it's still $300.
Yeah.
So then you're going to bring out the Switch at $300, and it's like, I
No.
just bad move in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that 300 is it's the high end.
And there's no pack-in games.
No, that's
That's
interesting too.
that's the like I don't have an issue with that,
Now,
but at that price you should have something. I mean,
well,
even if it was
okay.
just like a demo disc.
Let me make my case here because I totally get that. I was surprised too. I thought for sure that 1-2 Switch was going to be packed in. When they said no pack in, and I know I'm the minority here because nobody thinks like this, but my first thought was, oh, Nintendo must want to see what people want rather than just packing in a game and assuming that's what everybody wants, like they did with the Wii. Now, I know nobody else thinks like that, but I think that's kind of what they're at, because if you look at the Wii, it sold like freaking crazy. And Wii Sports ended up being its best-selling game by default because it was packed in with the system.
Yeah.
Well, then you had all these companies, including themselves a lot of the time, assuming that people want more of that because Wii Sports was the best-selling game on the system. But that wasn't the case, because their software sales weren't that good on the Wii, outside of like Wii Fit and Mario Kart.
This could be their way of trying to avoid shovelware.
I think so. I think this is their way of gauging the market, seeing like, okay, if we sell a lot of copies of 1-2 Switch, we know to give them more of that kind of stuff. If we don't, well, it's there for those who do want it, but we can focus our efforts on other projects. I know, like I said, nobody's going to think like that. No normal person is thinking like that when they saw no packing game. I'm like definitely the minority there. But you know, if the other two were not sitting on the shelf at $300 or less with pack-in games right now, this would be a non-issue. Like it really would be, because they didn't have pack-in games.
Well, when they were launched, they definitely did not have pack-ins.
And they cost more money.
Yeah,
more.
And you, over the years though, you get those bundles, and you know, I'm willing to bet, come Christmas time, they are going to bundle it, but they're going to know which game to bundle it with.
Yeah.
You know, my guess is Christmas time, they'll probably have it bundled with Zelda or Mario, or both.
I think it's going to be Mario Kart. That's what I think.
I don't know about that, because the Wii U has been bundled with Mario Kart for a long time, and
Yeah, but nobody gave a shit about that system. A lot of people don't even know it exists.
Well, I guess we'll see. I don't know. I think Zelda's a bigger title, and honestly, maybe it'll be packed in with a third-party game instead.
Well,
you never know.
That's possible. My argument against Zelda is that Zelda's going to continue to sell for the entire lifespan of the Switch. Kind of like Twilight Princess continued to sell decently throughout the Wii's life. Like, it's not going to stop selling, and they have no reason to pack it in to entice people to buy the system. Because anybody getting the system is going to get that game on top of whatever else they're getting. And that's why I think it's going to be something else where they might not normally get it, but since it's with the system, sweet. And I think you're probably half right with the Mario Kart thing, because it had been bundled before. But I don't know, they like to bundle Mario Kart with their systems. Ever since the Wii, at least. I don't know. We'll see. I think you're right. They're going to bundle something with it by Christmas. And I think in 2018 there will be a price drop.
Hopefully.
So
if they're smart, there'll be.
I think their main goal right now is to not sell at a loss, so I understand that. Even though 300 is the top end.
Yeah.
So now a few other things that I had on the list here. Do you think that this is going to be well accepted by a lot of people, including casuals? Do you think they're going to get it and they're going to be like on board with the idea, or do you think that it's going to be a Nintendo fan thing and that's it?
Well, I'm not going to say casuals exactly, but I will say people who are handheld gamers. In fact, I have some friends that they're buying the Switch as a handheld. In fact, they don't even plan to hook it up to their TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was kind of strange myself. But
yeah,
there are a lot of people who like handhelds. They play on the go a lot, you know, or they might be at work and they're on break or something, you know, and let's take a break and we're going to play Zelda, you know, or Skyrim. And that, I could see that. But for me, the 3-hour battery life kind of is poopy for
it is
handheld, but it's not meant to be a handheld, so. But.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo says that too. They're like, well, it's a console first. I don't know. I want to sit down with Reggie and debate that. Because I don't know, man. I'm not sure I buy that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm with you. I think my thought ever since all this info has finally come out is that this is not going to be a 100 million selling system like the Wii was. I think it's going to be.
I'm gonna say in the 50s.
That's what I was going to say. 50s, maybe mid 60s, which is still great. Like that is super good. That's a success by and large. It's not setting records, but it's a success far and away. And I think that that's what this is going to be. I think their next system will have to do at least the same in order to keep the momentum. But I think that that's what's going to happen. I think there's going to be a certain group of people who either game on a 3DS or tablet, smartphone, that will buy this thing, that will buy into it, because it's a different experience for them, different than what they're used to. And then there's going to be all those Nintendo fans like myself who are obviously going to buy it because I don't want to upset the balance of the world. So then there's going to be, I think, the people who might be more in your camp where they basically want that different thing, that different piece of technology that lets them do something they couldn't do before, or can't do currently, which is take your console games with you. I don't think that the graphical downgrade in that is going to be the factor so much, because you're taking it with you.
Now, see, here's the thing for me. I personally wouldn't probably take it outside of my home. However, I'm like, I'll be playing it, let's say, here in the game room.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know what, I'm kind of tired, but I'm not ready for bed, but I'm going to take it and I'll go play in a bed.
Mm-hmm.
Or, crap, I have to go to the bathroom.
No need to pause.
No,
don't need a magazine today.
You see, that's the
I'm
thing.
saving Hyrule.
That's the beauty of it. I really do think that there's going to be so many people who the
memes are already being made. Don't worry.
I know, and that's the thing though, and it's true.
Yeah.
So many people are probably quite excited that they can go take a shit and continue playing their game without any interruption.
Yeah. I'm sure that's exactly what's going to happen.
I bet you'll do it too.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I bet you will.
I get paranoid about taking my phone into the bathroom because I don't want to get ruined. I don't think
you're going to drop the Switch in the toilet. I mean, it's like this big.
It could still fall in. I don't know, man. So, anyway, let's end on a high note for this one. And I think, everybody needs to stay tuned because we have a few other things we're recording, and they'll surely be uploaded and
definitely, yeah.